Picture this. It's Christmas Eve, 1971. A teenage girl is sitting on an airplane, looking out the window at storm clouds. Suddenly, lightning strikes the aircraft, and it literally breaks apart in mid-air at 10,000 feet. And this girl finds herself falling through the sky, still strapped to her seat, toward the Amazon rainforest below. And somehow, impossibly, she survives. But that's just the beginning, because then she is in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth, injured, without food, and with no idea if rescue is coming. So stow your tray tables, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for extreme turbulence, because this is Final Boarding Call. Hello and welcome to Final Boarding Call. I am your disaster-obsessed host, Alice.
And I'm Zach, stay-at-home hubby material, as we have all talked about many a time.
So true. And
what a special night it is.
It is such a special night, Zach.
So special.
Who's sitting next to you?
It's just this guy I know. His name's T.
He's taken.
He's taken, Zach.
T for taken.
Yeah, he's also your brother-in-law. We have Lydia
In-law.
and T. In-law. Yeah.
Close enough.
We've got...
No blood.
Oh my gosh. We got Lydia and T here, folks.
Redacted.
Oh my gosh. And you guys might remember them from the insane paraglider episode that we did a few months ago. That still is one of my favorite stories we've ever covered. But
Excited to be back.
we're so excited to have you guys. And this is going to be really crazy because Lydia and I are telling the boys a story today.
I love stories.
It's story time. Story time for the boys.
I take naps during stories.
Oh,
You
my
gotta stay
gosh.
away from this one, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have to stay awake. That's part of the contract. There is no contract. Before we dive in, quick reminder to our listeners, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead and leave a 5-star review if you haven't. And if you want to leave a different review, just go ahead and email us. No need to leave anything. You can just shoot us an email.
All right. So the sources for this podcast are based on Juliane Koepcke's autobiography, When I Fell from the Sky, Werner Herzog's documentary, Wings of Hope, and official crash investigation reports, all of which are available in the show notes.
I also want to add that Not Today podcast did an amazing job covering this. My Favorite Murder, amazing job covering this story. It is very well known. There are a lot of podcasts covering it, but we're going to put our own twist on it. You guys, I was so mean, and I purposely gave Lydia the sources list to read today because we all know that I can't pronounce anything. So here you go. If you're going to be angry about pronunciations in this episode,
I don't know why-
you can be mad at Lydia. And not
Yeah, I don't
me.
know why Werner Herzog is so hard for me to say.
That's tough. It's fine. You're good.
It hurts, dog.
We're diving in. Guys. To understand how Juliane Koepcke survived one of history's most extraordinary ordeals, we must start with her remarkable childhood, because this was not a normal kid growing up in suburban America.
No iPad for her?
Minimize screen time at least.
Yeah, right.
You guys.
Only TV on the weekends.
Yeah.
All right, Juliane was born in Lima, Peru in 1954 to two German zoologists, Maria and Hans Wilhelm Koepcke. And these weren't just any scientists. They were pioneering researchers who had left the comfort of post-war Germany to study the wildlife of Peru's Amazon rainforest.
Her mother, Maria, was particularly extraordinary. In an era where women were rarely encouraged to pursue jobs, let alone scientific careers, Maria earned her doctorate, and she became a renowned ornithologist.
Seizure you have is horrible.
And there's some proof that Alice can't pronounce anything.
You guys witnessed it. I literally have like a little seizure. Okay. Became a renowned ornithologist, which is a bird expert.
Birds.
Birds aren't real. Who published groundbreaking research.
And that resilience was tested early. In 1955, when Juliane was just a baby, Maria was on a research expedition when a truck hit a power line. The line struck Maria, causing devastating injuries that left her permanently disabled. She completely lost her sense of taste and smell.
For most people, that would be career-ending.
That's
Or
shocking.
COVID.
But Maria's only concern was getting back to her research. Juliane would later describe her mother as patient and tenacious at the same time. Nothing would deter her from a goal. And remember that because it will become later important.
Her father, Hans, was equally impressive. Before Juliane was born, he'd survived hitchhiking through the Alps during wartime, being kidnapped and held in prison camp in Naples, and making a daring escape. Adventure and survival were literally in his blood.
Yeah, so badass parents, badass little baby. In 1968, when Juliane was 14 years old, her parents achieved their dream. They opened a research station called Panguana deep in the Peruvian jungle, and the family moved there to live. Move into the jungle.
With
Sounds familiar?
penguins.
Sounds familiar.
And when we say live there, quote unquote, we mean live there. This was their house on stilts with half walls, just a canopy for a roof, no electricity, no running water, constantly exposed to wildlife, bats, venomous snakes, spiders, you name it.
And for most teenagers, or even grown-ups, this would be an absolute nightmare. But for Juliane, it became an invaluable education. She spent a year and a half in that jungle learning crucial survival skills that would later save her life.
She learned how to navigate, what plants she could eat, what to avoid, how to read animal behavior, how to find water, treat injuries in the wild, handle the psychological challenges of isolation. If you ask me, these are important life skills to have, really.
For the Amazon.
For the Amazon, but also I just think in general,
I agree.
the further away we get from those kinds of skills, it's like, what are we even doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I want to learn to fend for myself. We're going.
I agree.
We're just asking AI. That's all.
No, I don't want to. The AI can't fend in the jungle for me. In 1970, authorities insisted Juliane return to Lima for formal schooling. She lived with family friends and attended the German-Peruvian Alexander von Humboldt School, while her parents stayed at Panguana.
Is it Juliane or Juliane?
You know, you're probably right with the Juliane.
Juliane.
Yeah, Juliane doesn't really sound.
Juliane.
I'm sorry, listeners, if we're mispronouncing it. Please
Classic.
send us an email.
That's such a classic Alice move, though. By December 1971, Juliane had completed her studies and was set to graduate on December 23rd. Her mother came to Lima for the graduation, and they planned to fly back to Koepcke, then travel to Panguana to spend Christmas with her father.
Maria originally wanted to leave earlier, but Juliane wanted her to stay for graduation. Maria readily agreed that even though it meant traveling on Christmas Eve, one of the busiest travel days of the year.
And this is really where we need to talk about LANSA, because this airline had a horrific safety record.
And LANSA stands for Líneas Aéreas Nacionales.
Oh, get it, Lid.
Is that right? We got it.
That sounded amazing.
Over its 20-year history, LANSA had experienced multiple fatal crashes. By 1971, they only had one plane left in their entire fleet because they had lost so many to accidents. And I feel like this is where, when you're looking at the flights and you're like, oh, that one's inexpensive, maybe you do a little more research on the company, just a little bit more.
So when Maria and Juliane tried to book their preferred airline, it's fully booked. The only available option was LANSA.
Yep. People would joke darkly about the airline, saying, LANSA lands on its belly. It was that bad. So when Hans Wilhelm heard they were flying LANSA, he was horrified. He begged them to cancel and book with another airline, even if it meant staying another day.
But Maria, who's a bad bitch, she was not easily frightened, and she told Hans not every plane crashes. Except, I guess, in LANSA it does.
Most of them.
Most of them,
You know.
all but one. And she did book the tickets for December 24th. And that would actually end up being the last conversation that they ever had.
The aircraft was a Lockheed L-188A Electra turboprop. According to some reports, it had been cobbled together using spare parts from other planes, basically a Frankenstein aircraft.
Yeah, but they didn't have to buy a new plane. They had parts from 40 planes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
they-
go to the wreckage and pull off the good parts and put it on the plane.
I need an alternator. I have a junkyard out back.
Right. Who cares if they don't fit exactly the same?
It's fine.
Right?
It was their last plane.
Slap it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, they were just like, look, we'll be done when this one crashes.
It got most of the way over the Amazon.
It got up to 10,000 feet.
That's pretty
So on December 24th, Maria and Juliane were assigned seats in row 19, which is the second to the last row.
So there were 92 people on board LANSA Flight 508 that day, 86 passengers and 6 crew members. The flight was supposed to be just an hour long, just a quick pop over.
Pop over. And this brings us to Christmas Eve 1971 and the flight that would change everything.
Bum, bum.
I was gonna say there's gonna be some dramatic music that goes in here, right?
No.
Okay.
No, we just go right to the
Yeah,
next thing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So for the first 30 minutes, everything was completely normal. The crew served lunch, collected trays, then the plane entered a patch of some dark storm clouds.
And Juliane is sitting in row 19, her mother beside her. They're looking out the window and they are seeing massive, dark, thunderous clouds. They're going right into that.
Later, the investigation would reveal that the crew had made a catastrophic decision. They intentionally flew into hazardous weather conditions, likely due to schedule pressures. Wanted to get home for Christmas.
A couple bucks in fuel.
You know?
That's it.
Maybe had another flight because they were the only plane.
Suddenly, violent turbulence. The plane starts shaking. Luggage actually crashed down from overhead bins onto passengers, and people start screaming.
And then Maria sees it. Lightning strikes the right wing. A bright, blinding flash. Suddenly, the wing is on fire.
The lightning actually ignited the fuel tank.
Gonna keep burning.
That's bad. Within seconds, the fire causes structural failure. The wing starts to separate from the aircraft. No wing, plane no stay in air. This plane is breaking apart mid-air. It's made out of friggin' paper mache.
There's a lot of spare parts. In this moment of absolute terror, passengers screaming, the plane is shaking violently. Maria Koepcke shows her strength one final time. While everyone else panics, Maria remains composed. And the last thing that Juliane hears from her mother is her saying, quietly and calmly, "Now it's all over."
Immediately afterward, the plane goes into a sharp nosedive. The right wing separates completely. The aircraft begins disintegrating. The fuselage is ripping open. Screaming passengers, roaring engines, metal tearing, and the passengers are actually being sucked out of the airplane into the sky. Juliane opens her eyes, and she is not in the plane anymore. She is actually falling through the air, still strapped to her seat, with the entire row of seats attached. German filmmaker Werner Herzog later described it perfectly. She did not leave the airplane. The airplane left her.
Asshole of an airplane.
Yeah, that's rude. Maybe they should have used some new parts. Maybe, I don't know. We're not
Tighten
really-
the bolts.
Yeah. All right. Now, Juliane is falling from 10,000 feet, about 2 miles, still strapped to her seat. And several factors are about to combine in what can only be described as a miracle of physics. First, her row of seats begins spinning like a maple seed as it falls. So those little helicopter seeds that spin when they fall from the tree, that same principle. So there's something creating resistance and dramatically slowing her descent.
But making you dizzy while it goes.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably not the best.
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of G's she was pulling in those kind of spins.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
So second, the dense rainforest canopy breaks her fall. Layer after layer of natural cushioning, the tall trees, leaves, vines, the undergrowth, each layer absorbs some of that impact. And third, Juliane is going in and out of consciousness during the fall. So this means her body is limp rather than tensed up. And research shows us that limp bodies have better survival rates because tense muscles cause more severe injuries on impact.
She was falling for 2 to 3 minutes. She was just plummeting to the jungle.
So after an unknown period of time, Juliane begins to regain consciousness. She has a strange, disconnected dreams running through a tight, dark space with a roaring sound like turbines around her. And then dreaming obsessively about wanting to wash herself because she feels sticky and covered in mud. When she finally fully awakens, she discovers that she's no longer attached to the row of seats. She's been unbuckled at some point, and now she's huddled beneath them. So it had rained. She's soaking wet, covered in mud, dirt, blood. She's considering she just fell 2 miles from an exploding airplane, and her injuries are remarkably mild. So she has a severe concussion, one eye swollen completely shut, a broken collarbone, and the 2 ends pushed up on top of each other.
Yeah.
But there's no, it hasn't pushed through the skin. So it's still under the skin, which is, it's good. You don't want an open wound in the Amazon. But she does have open wounds, unfortunately. She has a deep laceration on her arm, a large gash on her leg, a ruptured ligament in her knee that she doesn't even realize yet.
No. So she doesn't actually feel a ton of pain initially because shock and adrenaline are running through her body. But her first clear thoughts are ones of helplessness and what she describes as a boundless feeling of abandonment. Just so sad. So she looks around, she sees nothing. No survivors, no bodies, no wreckage, just jungle. She has lost her glasses.
I can't see out my glasses.
And she actually can't see without her glasses.
Welcome to
And
the club.
then her mom is nowhere to be found. She is alone. She's injured. And she is lost in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth.
When Juliane first tries to stand, she immediately blacks out. Her body forces her to rest, and she remains unconscious for the rest of Christmas Day, not waking until December 26th. When she finally wakes up and assesses her situation, her parents' training kicks in immediately. She tells herself, with calm and methodical thinking, you could master almost any situation in nature.
Man, this kid's a freak of nature. That's a hell of a mindset for a 17-year-old. She just fell 2 miles from an exploding airplane, and she is alone. And instead of panicking, as most of us would do, she is applying scientific problem solving. And her first priority is water, because she actually knows that a human can only survive around 3 days without water. And since it rained, she starts licking water off of leaves, which is very smart. But she knows that she needs something that's a little more substantial. Tree licking ain't gonna.
Yeah, it's good that she has all of the knowledge about the flora and fauna to know that
You don't just
what
go
leaves
licking.
she can lick, because there's a lot of poisonous and plants that will kill you. Next thing, she needs food. She finds a bag of candy from the flight. This becomes her only food source. She also finds a Christmas stollen, a type of fruitcake, but it's soaked in muddy water, so she leaves it behind. Later, she will regret not taking it and cutting off the soggy parts.
100%. Yeah, we're not really in a situation
Yep.
to be picky about a fruitcake.
Yeah. Just remember this for future if you're ever a little sad on Christmas, or maybe you think the food isn't that great. Let's just reframe your whole situation.
Eat the fruitcake.
Yeah.
Just cut the soggy part off. You'll be all right.
But on Thanksgiving, we get it if you think turkey sucks, because it does.
That is
Those are
your
fighting
opinion.
words.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think some of the listeners are going to be ready to break up with us. Okay. All right. So after hours of searching for supplies or survivors and finding absolutely nothing, she hears running water. She follows it and she discovers a small stream.
And this is where her jungle training becomes absolutely critical. She knows streams eventually lead to larger bodies of water, which often have human settlements nearby, so she decides to follow it downstream. And that first night, exhausted and concussed, she falls asleep next to the stream. Meanwhile, news of the crash reaches her father, who had initially thought his wife and daughter heeded his warning about LANSA. So he's thinking, oh, they didn't take the flight. Why would they take that flight? Of course they didn't. And yeah, they did.
They did, and he got confirmation of that when the news report actually listed all of the passengers, and it included Maria and Juliane. So there you go.
Nobody wants to listen to dads.
They're usually right.
It's so true, you guys. That's so true. All right, on day 2, she wakes up, and she is still following this stream, downstream. The going is incredibly difficult because the stream winds through the jungle. It's not just like a nice straight line with a cute little walking path next to it. She is climbing over fallen trees. She's navigating around boulders. She's pushing through very dense undergrowth. And she's doing this while she's concussed. She has one eye that's swollen shut. She's a broken collarbone. And she's blind because she doesn't have her glasses. So she's a trooper. Kid's a trooper.
And the Amazon presents constant dangers. She's encountering Goliath bird-eating spiders, a tarantula so large it can catch and eat small birds. The jungle is home to jaguars, caimans, anacondas, and at least 17 species of venomous snakes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a bird-eating tarantula?
Yeah.
That bothers me.
No, I want one so bad. There you go. When the stream opens into a larger river, new challenges emerge. Piranhas. Piranhas live in the Amazon. That's okay. And stingrays. And this is actually one of my favorite animals on the planet, bull sharks. Bull sharks live in freshwater, saltwater, and they have the ability to swim upstream into rivers from the ocean. Crazy, crazy animals. She has to wade through these dangerous waters using one sandal that she found to feel ahead of her like a walking stick probing for shit.
Is she even wearing shoes? She's just using this sandal.
No, she's just using that sandal to feel for sharks and stingrays.
All right. Throughout days 2 and 3, she hears planes above her. Search planes looking for the missing flight. But the thick canopy makes it impossible for them to see her. She has no way to signal them. And I feel like at that point, that's where I would really just become so frustrated.
I know they're here.
I
just
know
can't
they're
do anything.
there. And I just, you would want to be rescued and you can't.
Oh, yeah.
And the thought that would go through my mind, which would probably inevitably get me killed, would be like, I'm going to try to climb a tree and wave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just climbing a tree.
It's not the smartest instinct, but I think that would be my instinct. I'm not surviving, but
Well, we already established that my instinct is to pet the giant bird-eating tarantula.
Or ride a bull shark. So here we
I
are.
would for sure be dead.
Yeah.
I think we could get there. Maybe not with all the injuries, but if they just planted us,
Maybe not with us holding you back.
Correct.
we're going to have to leave you.
Yeah, well,
Just take some vines, lasso
okay.
a bull shark, and
Yeah.
have it pull us back to the ocean.
we'll be back eating the soggy fruitcake, and we'll see you on the other
That's so
side.
true. That's the soggy fruitcake's all mine. On day 4, which is now December 28th, she makes a discovery that haunts her to this day.
Her glasses were in
She-
a pocket.
She hears the sound of large wings flapping. King vultures. From her mother's training, she knows that these birds appear
When something's about to die.
when something either is about to die or when something is dead. Given the fact that there was a large plane crash in the vicinity, I think we all kind of know what she's going to discover. So she follows the sound and she finds a row of 3 seats from Flight 508 buried 3 feet deep in the ground, upside down. They did not
They didn't spin.
like what Lydia was describing earlier. All 3 passengers are still strapped in, and their legs are jutting grotesquely upward.
Oh, she was able to
So-
see the legs.
So maybe she can have some more sandals.
Well,
Oh my god, tea.
he's thinking with survivor's instincts. That's, yeah, you need shoes. Maybe you find a shoe. I get
You have
that.
to be a gatherer when you are in a situation like that.
It's true.
Check their pockets for snacks.
Or glasses.
Well, despite every instinct screaming at her to run, Juliane forces herself to check if one of them is her mother. She uses a stick to move the woman's shoe and sees painted toenails. Now, does she take the shoe with her? We don't know. Does she find her glasses? Probably not. Okay, her mother never painted her toenails, so it wasn't Maria.
You think that's better or worse that she didn't find her mother?
Maybe
You
she
see her
thinks
like
that
that'd be some
there's-
serious trauma.
Yeah.
For sure,
I think
yes.
she's still remaining hope that
She's
her
keeping
mom's
it-
this badass,
Yeah.
like this insane jungle woman. If she survived the crash and was able to move, she
I
could
would like
probably.
to point out how fucking insane it would be, though, if there were 2 survivors from this plane and it was mom and daughter
Right.
that happened to be badasses their whole lives anyway.
So it confirms that the plane broke apart dramatically, scattering wreckage across miles of jungle. After this discovery, she returns to the river, continues downstream, which is now becoming wider and deeper.
By days 5 and 6, her physical condition is seriously deteriorating. The shock has worn off. She feels the pain of her injuries. Adrenaline, gone.
Gone.
Bye-bye.
Gone.
Her broken collarbone throbs with every movement. The deep cut on her arm has become inflamed. Temperatures are soaring to 95 degrees with intense humidity.
Ooh, that's not my favorite weather.
Nights become uncomfortably cool. She's still wearing only the light cotton dress from the plane, now torn and filthy. Her candy supply nearly exhausted.
The humidity's got to
feel
be
like-
a killer, too, though, helping her sweat extra when she doesn't have any water to put into her body.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and I don't know what everlasting gobstopper of a candy she's dealing with, but is she having one Skittle a
No,
day?
I think, yeah, she was
this is
rationing it,
crazy
yeah.
That we're on day 6 and she still has any left.
Right,
It's
I'm-
crazy.
I'm 6-7 minutes in to the
Same.
candy and it's gone.
For a king size. This is a family size bag.
God.
Dumb.
On day 7, Happy New Year, you guys. It's January 1st, 1972. The mental fog from her concussion begins to clear. Reality truly sinks in. And with this clarity comes a horrifying discovery about her arm.
Grand prize. Da-da-da. Maggots.
Ooh.
Flies had laid eggs in her wound while she slept.
It's fucking rude.
The larvae are now burrowing into her flesh and feeding on it, and she can see them moving under her skin. Ugh, gross.
Yep. It's so
Can you pop them like a pimple? Just be like,
Gross. Oh my god.
Okay. She's also noticing at this point that the wildlife is not fleeing from her, which is a bad sign.
They're not scared of you
Animals
anymore.
that don't fear humans have never encountered them, meaning she is in a very remote area.
Yes. Either they haven't encountered them or they've been domesticated in a way that they've been fed too often. We know that's not the case.
We know that's not the case, but we did visit a duck pond today. It's fresh on the mind.
Yeah. On day 9, she gets her foot stuck in a sandbank and falls. The exhaustion is overwhelming. All she wants to do is sleep. And as she lies on the ground, she nearly gives in.
Then she hears an ominous chirping. It's not a bird, folks. It's a baby caiman. She opens her eyes and she sees a little reptile, which would be really cute and fun to have come up to you, except this one has its mom with it. And the mother is aggressive.
moms are mean.
Yep. Drawing on her knowledge, she knows that jumping up would actually provoke an attack. Instead, she slowly slides away on the ground. How cool is that? Like,
Yeah,
what
I
a
guess the
smart
bigger
thing.
you seem, the more they're like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to win in that fight.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That mama caiman's gonna take you down.
How big are caimans?
They can be pretty big.
Yeah.
They're your size.
They're not as big as alligators and stuff, but they can be like 6, 7 feet.
Yeah, those jaws will take you out. And she's in no shape to, like, wrestle a caiman. 6'7"?
Yeah, sorry.
We just have a 6'7" reference on this podcast.
I slipped one in earlier. I just couldn't help myself. Okay, all right.
That one's for you. Do you think Simon is a 6'7" guy? Is he? He's the only listener I can think of that might 6'7".
I love Simon, and he's been a fuckboy forever, but
He has.
he's really just a working guy now.
Oh, okay.
He says things like feller.
Oh, wow, that's he's all grown up.
All right.
But then he also says shit like, she just like me for real.
Yeah, he's gonna get
He's
on that.
6'7". Okay.
All right, back to Juliane here.
Yeah.
She gradually makes her way back to the river, lets the current carry her downstream to safety.
So she's just following the lazy river. Huh?
Just
my God,
lazy
what
on
do
the
you do?
river,
What do
you
do with that
know?
boy?
If there's enough water, though, forget the sharks. Just like, I hope I get to the bottom and float.
How do you have enough strength at that point
No.
to stay afloat even
Hopefully
in the
she
river?
grabbed some sort of log or maybe a caiman and just held on to it.
Okay, yeah, probably she's ready and came in.
If she had taken the vines that we talked about, she could have lassoed the fucker.
Right?
Yeah, I love T's version of this narrative where we got a bull shark on one side and a caiman on the other, and we're just riding down. Okay.
Some floating alligator shoes kind of situation.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
That's Crocs.
Crocs.
That's what those are.
No, the Crocs weren't invented yet.
That's how they
This is
invented.
1972, as of today.
That's the inspiration.
Okay, this is perfect. Yes. Day 10. We're now double digits in time. She is on the absolute brink of mentally losing it, physically losing it. She's exhausted. Hunger has become all consuming. And the river is now presenting new challenges. Dams of driftwood and rocks, which require precious energy to navigate.
No waterfalls yet?
No, apparently not. I don't know. As the sun sets on this 10th day, Juliane spots what appears to be a gravel bank, a good place to rest. So she makes her way there and lies down. Before closing her eyes, she spots something that makes her heart race. A small boat tied to the riverbank. At first, she thinks it's a hallucination. She blinks, looks again, even reaches out to touch it. The boat is real, in good condition, which means that someone is using it regularly.
Oh gosh, you guys, this is one of the craziest parts of the story. Because if you don't know this story, you're probably like, wow, she's about to get rescued. No, something
Instead,
fucking
somebody
is,
put on
is
her thinking that she... Oh, sorry.
Zachary? No.
It's the cannibals, right?
No.
The hell's lies?
First off, there's nobody there in the boat. But she finds gasoline inside of it. And she knows from watching her father that gasoline can force maggots out of a wound.
Yeah, I could see that.
So she grits her teeth and she pours gasoline onto her infected arm. The pain, excruciating. But it works. The maggots actually start
Jumping
exiting her arm, which is fucking crazy. This is crazy. This is how Zach and I get rid of ants in our backyard.
I do burn
Yeah.
my ants or douse them with gas. You know?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine using it on my body. 30 maggots is the final count of what she pulls out of her body.
It's quite a few.
There you go. Yes.
She had been being eaten alive. That's...
From the inside.
Yeah. Ugh.
She'll get to retain her nourishment from her piece of candy a little bit longer.
I wouldn't eat those maggots now. They're all covered in gasoline.
That's true.
She considers taking the boat to continue downstream, but instead, she's worried about stranding the boat's owner in the jungle. She is concerned about the boat's owner at this point. She borrows a tarp and lies down to sleep, hoping whoever owns the boat will return soon.
Like, the most considerate?
Yeah. At that point, I'd be like,
Fuck it.
fuck it. You'll be fine. I gotta get out of here.
Look at my condition. I have to
Yeah.
get to the bottom.
Yeah.
I'll tell somebody to come back up for you.
Oh man. On that morning, which is now day 11, January 5th, she wakes up alone. There is nobody there. No one returned overnight. And now she is considering just saying fuck it. And she's going to continue downstream. But her body will not cooperate. She has now gone 10 days with very minimal food, a bag of candy. She has severe infections. She is out of strength. And she decides to have a rest day. treat herself.
As she should.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but in that situation, the next day is not going to be better. Keep on cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As twilight approaches on this 11th day, Juliane hears something. Voices in the distance. And again, at first, she thinks it's a hallucination, but the voices grow closer. And suddenly, 3 men emerge from the jungle, local lumber workers returning to their shack. They're startled to find her, but immediately recognize that she must be from the plane crash.
That's crazy. And fortunately, she knows a little bit of Spanish because she's incredible. And she manages to say, I'm a girl who was on the LANSA crash. My name is Juliane. And these 3 lumber workers become her saviors. They immediately clean her wounds, they feed her, they give her water, dry clothes, and they remove more maggots from her arm, just in case you were in the mood for some more maggot
Shit, 35.
actions here.
And then they tell her that she made a brilliant decision to stay. So, Zach, that's where you would have been. That would have
Cruising
been
down the river?
No, that
Really
if she
quickly?
had continued, she likely would have died. The jungle became even more remote in that direction. So in this scenario, T is the only one who would have survived.
Oh, that's
Riding
fair.
the caimans down the river.
Yes. That's so true. I would have made it to day 1.5.
Yeah, I would have made it maybe day 3.
Day 3?
I won't give it 6 or 7. That
Mine
is
is I want to tame the wilderness. That will always be my downfall. I'll get bit by the snakes. I'll get attacked by the spiders.
I'm just surprised she hasn't eaten any natural wildlife yet, because she was trained in this, it sounded like, as a kid.
Yeah, but she can't hunt anything because she can't fucking see.
She should be Bear Grylls or some shit.
Well, one of the references that we're using, they talked about that she was trying to hunt frogs at one point, but she was too slow to catch any of them. So that, and then later she sort of was recalling that and was actually, there's a lot of poisonous frogs, and I probably would not have survived if I would have eaten one of the frogs.
And she's so tired that she's moving at like a quarter the pace of the frogs. And then
And visually
she actually realizes that she's hunting poisonous dart frogs. So thank God that she couldn't catch them in the first place. Oh, homegirl.
Poisonous, hallucinogenic, all those.
Correct. So she was having a hard time coming across things that were edible or that she was able to catch just in the state that she was in.
Yeah. And she also later recalls that she was unable to fish, gather roots, or harvest palm hearts, which she knows about from her life and experiences.
Because she has no tools.
She has no tools.
She has nothing.
She has nothing. She can't see, and she has absolutely no tools. Okay. So here is one of the craziest parts. These lumber men were not supposed to even return that day. They only came back to check on their boat to make sure it was still tied after a rainstorm. So it was pure chance. It was pure fate that they found her at this last possible moment where she was knocking on death's door, for sure.
And so the next morning, they take Juliane on an 11-hour boat journey to a settlement. From there, she's flown to the hospital, and then she's finally safe.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good explanation of how remote this area
11 hours.
is.
Yeah.
By
boat.
boat. Boat.
A motorized boat, too.
Oh my gosh.
But she is about to receive devastating news.
Out of the 92 people that were on this flight, 86 passengers and 6 crew members is what made up that group. She is the only one who made it out of the jungle alive. But here is what makes it even more heartbreaking. Later investigation revealed that she wasn't the only initial survivor. When search teams finally found the crash site, evidence suggested that 14 other passengers actually survived the initial impact.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's incredible.
I'm just curious on if they crash landed in the plane and were able to get out of it, or if they were all ejected. What the percentage could possibly be of survival from falling from
Right.
10,000 feet.
Right. That's a pretty good percentage if you're talking 15 total people out of 100. that actually survived a 2-mile fall from.
Yeah, like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
These survivors were scattered at or near the wreckage site, and they were within the rainforest itself. They probably were in areas very similar to where she was. They could have actually been initially somewhat close. It just is because the rainforest is so dense. It's like
dense
you
jungle.
don't know. You don't know. Yeah.
Can't see 100
Yeah,
feet.
exactly. Somebody could be a few hundred feet away from you and you would have absolutely no idea.
Wow.
They survived the fall, but they died from their injuries or the harsh jungle conditions before rescue could reach them. So some lived for hours and some lived and suffered for days. And among those 14 survivors, Juliane's mother, Maria, was also one of them.
Yeah. So she had actually survived the fall, but she was critically injured to the point where she couldn't move. She died alone in the jungle waiting for rescue to come. Yeah. Juliane actually later found her mother's body. She followed the smell of decay and Maria. The accounts indicate her final days would have been marked by significant pain and immobility. So we're going to give a little tribute to Maria, who was an incredibly strong, determined woman who had overcome a devastating accident that left her already disabled. She had pioneered research in the Amazon. She had taught her daughter everything that ultimately would help her survive, which, as a mom myself, that's the coolest gift that you can give your kid. If I'm going to die in a situation, but I have prepared Arya to survive, that's such a boss parent move to make.
And that's why we're taking her into the jungle.
And that's it. And Arya is going to Costa Rica, and we are going to drop her in the middle of the rainforest. See how, no,
Safely,
we're not.
safely.
We are not doing that.
Not from 10,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I'm still just kind of blown away that Joanne even made it back into the jungle to go find her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that had to have been after the hospital and all the stuff.
So this is all post-rescue that this happened. So she helped authorities locate the crash site where her mother's body was eventually found weeks later.
Ooh.
So this crash site, one, we're talking about such a remote area. Two, the terrain is just, I'm sure, impossible to try and navigate and discover ruins from. Mm-hmm. And it took weeks to find Maria's body.
What a baddie to come out of that and be like, yeah, I'll go back in. I'll help
I need
you
to find my
uncover
mom.
some stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
that's wow.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and so the question becomes, why did Juliane survive when 14 others, including her mother, didn't? First off, Juliane's injuries were significantly less severe. She could walk, think relatively clearly, and wasn't trapped by wreckage. And second, she had the crucial jungle survival skills from living in Panguana. She knew to follow the water downstream, what to eat, what to avoid, and how to navigate safely.
Third, she did not try to tame the bull sharks. Kidding. She had what researchers call survival personality traits. So that is adaptability, persistence, and the ability to maintain hope.
If you don't think that you're going to get out, you're not getting out, right? If you can tell yourself
That's it.
that you're going to make it out of there, you're going to have a chance.
Yep.
Well, as soon as you give up, you've already lost the battle.
Exactly.
Of course, Lady Luck was on her side. So her row of seats acted as a protective shell during the fall, and she landed near water. And then the fact that those lumber workers happened to come back on a day when they were not supposed to be there, that's also completely crazy.
I mean, even the fact that those workers were there with the boat.
Like it's all so unbelievably lucky.
Yep. And the other survivors likely had more severe injuries, were scattered across different parts of the jungle, didn't have knowledge to navigate towards help. So they survived the impossible fall only to succumb to what came after.
Now, I want to talk about LANSA because this is an aviation disaster podcast, and this airline is an aviation disaster. This was their third major fatal accident in just a few years. So the investigation attributed the crash to intentional flight into hazardous weather conditions. The crew, they continued into a known thunderstorm, and the lightning strike ignited that right wing fuel tank, and it caused wing separation, which led to mid-air breakup. Contributing factors included poor decision-making, operational pressures, and a history of not giving a fuck about safety. So they had been cutting corners for years.
After Flight 508, LANSA's license was revoked by Peruvian authorities.
Good.
Finally.
God.
Finally. They permanently ceased operations in early 1972. All operations halted, aircraft seized, assets liquidated. At that point, what do they really have?
What aircraft?
Yeah, what
aircraft
seizing?
are they seizing? Because that was the last.
It was the
aircraft,
Frankenstein.
and it broke apart.
I don't know.
They had an office.
Whatever
They
other,
probably still had some spare parts.
yeah, whatever other parts they had left, I guess.
Or
The
yeah, you
junkyard.
put together another plane.
I was just thinking, I wonder if they went back out into the jungle and scavenged the parts, you know?
Oh my god, that's so sick. But they may have, because they're a shit show airline.
But they got shut down instead.
Thank God.
So for Juliane, the aftermath was almost as traumatic as the ordeal itself. She spent months recovering. By March 1972, she returned to school, but the press hounded her relentlessly.
Yeah. So global headlines dubbed her the girl who fell from the sky. The media besieged her for interviews, photos, even reenactments of her fall. And it was really overwhelming, and it was incredibly invasive.
So to escape the media frenzy, her father sent her to Germany to live with her grandmother and aunt. Juliane struggled with significant PTSD, nightmares, depression, flashbacks triggered by loud noises, storms, even trees. And she described the psychological wounds as more difficult to heal than her physical injuries. And she carries deep survivor's guilt, questioning why she survived alone, mourning her mother and the others who died.
Oh my God, brutal. Despite all of this, she actually went back to the jungle. She went to Peru as a PhD student to study Amazonian bats at Panguana, the very place where she had lived with her parents. And in the 1990s, she returned to the crash site with filmmaker Werner Herzog for his documentary, Wings of Hope. And this was part of her processing and getting closure. Herzog himself had been scheduled to be on that flight, but a last-minute change kept him off the plane. Mm-hmm. How insane is that? So she is working with this filmmaker who could have died. Could have died.
That's exactly why you pick them, those, because they probably feel
like
an
he
intense
probably-
connection. They're not just trying to get rich. They're like, wow, this was the change of my life too.
Mm-hmm. So after her father's death in 2000, she expanded the facility and had it designated as a conservation area, the most fitting tribute to both of her parents.
So today, Juliane Koepcke, now Juliane Diller, after her marriage, splits her time between Munich, where she works as a librarian at the Bavarian State Collection of Zoology, and Panguana, where she continues her parents' research.
And perhaps most remarkably, despite her traumatic experience, Juliane flies regularly for her work, and she understands better than most that modern aviation is extraordinarily safe.
At least it used to be.
Well, not LANSA. We're not putting any faith in her.
No. In 2011, she actually published her autobiography, When I Fell from the Sky, How the Jungle Gave Me My Life Back. And the book won the Corinne Literature Prize. In 2019, Peru made her a Grand Officer of the Order of Merit for Distinguished Services, which is very much like the Order of Merlin.
Okay, but here is what makes Juliane's story.
Nobody got my Harry Potter.
I did.
Except for
I
Lydia.
had a little
Okay.
Here is what makes Juliane's story so inspiring. It wasn't just about surviving an impossible situation. It was about using that experience to create meaning and purpose. And so she didn't let the trauma define or limit her. She channeled it into continuing her parents' work, making the world better through conservation and research. And in many ways, she became her mother's daughter in the fullest sense.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, just living out their dreams. I think it's beautiful.
I knew that you would vibe with her.
Yeah.
Lydia and T are moving to Costa Rica, guys, in just a couple weeks. And they're going to be there for 6 months, which is a pretty solid temporary move.
Into Panama.
Into Panama.
We're going to be in the
Living.
jungle.
God, they're doing it. They're deep
in the jungle.
They're deep in the jungle, guys.
We're going remote. We're just out there with the nature.
We'll be snuggling caimans.
Yep.
That's it.
We'll be snuggling caimans in no time.
Bull sharks.
Rope and bull sharks. Yep.
That is our story today. That's it, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
This is a wild
us.
story.
So amazing.
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on social media, but we're not there. And if you want to get a hold of us, please email us at finalboardingcallpodcast@gmail.com. Okay. And Zach, do you have any words for the people before we sign off here? Don't eat the poison dart frogs.
I was going to say, listen to your dad.
Yeah, there you go.
Join us next time when we'll be exploring another transportation disaster story. Until then, remember to stow your tray tables, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for the unexpected, because not every trip reaches its final destination. Goodbye.
Bye.
Last call for alcohol.